90.1 The Voice. I'm your boy Javon Hubbard on this Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year to all our listeners. Here with Brad Brooks, Wanye Davis, and this right here is Third and 30. How's you guys' New Year's, man?
It was good, man. Breaking 2018 with a bang, man. I'm blessed.
Sure, man. Positive, man. All positivity,
nothing
man.
but positive Philadelphia sports. We back on the come up in 2018. Living nothing but positivity. Not taking no nonsense from
We
y'all.
gonna see, yeah.
We
gonna get to that, yeah. But yeah,
That's how my New Year was, man. That's how my New Year's going this year.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, NFL, guys. As you know, the playoffs are heating up. People have lost. The wild card is done. We're going to go through these games, man. We're going to break down each one. First and foremost, man, let's break down this Tennessee and Kansas City game. Tennessee getting the job done. It was ugly, man, honestly. It was a high-scoring game. It was 22-21. Yeah. But, you know, to me, it wasn't interesting to me, honestly. I'm not even going to lie to you. It wasn't an interesting game. But what did you guys learn from this game, from both sides?
I didn't really learn much. I've kind of been on the record saying since the beginning of the year when they started out 5-0 that the Chiefs weren't built for the playoffs. I kind of knew that being an Eagles fan, knowing how Andy Reid is in the playoffs, his teams do not translate into the playoffs. However, they got off to a good start. They were up 21-10. The Titans, a lot of people thought that they were probably one of the worst teams in the playoffs. But Marcus Mariota made plays. He had that crazy touchdown that he threw kind of to himself that got batted back to him for a touchdown.
Yeah,
and they kind of made plays late in the game. And Travis Kelce went down. You know, hopefully he's okay. But when he went down, it kind of made the offense real lethargic, and they just couldn't get it back going.
Right. Yeah, man. What I learned is history repeats itself. You know, this is what Kansas City is accustomed to. This is the franchise they lost 11 of their last 12 playoff games. And at the same time, coaches, they are not smart. This team is not. They were 9-0 the season when Kareem Hunt had at least 20-plus carries or 100 yards. You got the leading rusher in the NFL. And then in this game, Kareem Hunt only had 11 carries and 5 in the second half when you had the 21-3 lead. So that's just like, it's mind blowing to me. Like, man, this is our bread and butter. This is why we've been winning. Because even towards the end of the season, the tail end, when once they started, getting more wins, was able to get into the playoffs, they were running the ball good again. And in this game, they kind of put a lot of pressure on Alex Smith, letting him throw more than what we needed him to. And then, of course, when Travis Kelce went down in the end of the first half, it kind of just, that was their scapegoat. Anytime they needed to just get something off, they would just dump it off to Kelce. So
yeah, and a good point about that too is the scapegoat thing. I mean, Travis Kelce needs his guy that'll get him out of bad situations, right? He needs that person that we know him to be that nickel and dime quarterback to kind of bring it up the field slow and steady. He'll get you there, but it's going to take a while. He's not a big play quarterback. And you just saw the breath taken out of the team, like you said, when Travis Kelce went down. I mean, I think that hurt them bad. The question now is it time for Mahomes, guys? Moving forward, I mean, is this, I tweeted myself that I feel as if this is the last time we see Alex Smith as a starter. I really feel that way. I think that they'll make the right decision moving forward. They're going to work with Mahomes over this summer coming up, and I think he'll be ready in August.
I definitely feel, this playoff game determined Alex Smith's future with the Chiefs. I definitely feel like the decision to start Mahomes in the new season will be more so of an organizational decision. Them saying, hey, we invested in this guy in the first round. We need to get him out there, see what he does. Rather than a coaching, because I think from a coaching standpoint, that coaching staff knows that Alex Smith is probably better. But they know, but the organization invested, and Mahomes is kind of the future. So I feel like this playoff game was Alex Smith's last chance to kind of save his job for the next season, and unfortunately, he just couldn't do it.
Speaking of future, I want to go back to the Titans. I think the future is bright with them. The thing we saw this past Saturday. The two things that translate well in playoff football, especially on the road, are running games and defenses. And when they gave Derrick Henry that ball, Derrick Henry is a workhorse. He looked like the man who won the Heisman when he was at Bama. He had a career high, like you said, 156 rushing yards. That's a career high for him. And this season he was splitting a lot of carries with DeMarco Murray. Now DeMarco Murray is actually out. So honestly, moving forward with the Titans, I think in this offseason they'll probably dump DeMarco Murray and just let Derrick Henry be that feature back, because that man is a monster when he gets the ball. And then, like you said, Kansas City, I think it is time to go ahead and put Mahomes in that starting role. We saw what we saw out of Alex Smith. Like I said, stop kicking old tires. You're not gonna get much out of Alex Smith. We know what we're gonna get for him. I think maybe a team to look forward to in the offseason, definitely Cleveland Browns. You know, they have John Dorsey now as their general manager, former KC general manager, and also a team like Arizona. I think, you know, that's a team. It's so many veteran quarterbacks. You know, we've seen Carson Palmer. We've seen not Donovan McNabb, Kurt Warner. Like, all these guys go there kind of like on the tail end of their career. I think those are two. I think those are two destinations to, you know, possibly where Alex Smith can end up next season.
Cool. So Buffalo and Jacksonville. This one was a hard one to watch. This one was difficult. It was defensive. It's exactly what we pretty much thought it would be.
Yeah.
Buffalo obviously falling 3-10 to Jacksonville, but that's all. Yeah.
I mean, the AFC wild card was just so like.
Yeah.
I think because as NFL fans, we know it's going to be the Patriots and the Steelers in the AFC Championship. So all these other games are kind of just meaningless, essentially. And, you know, the Bills, they just couldn't get it going offensively. They, as usual, you know, their defense held up for a good amount of time. Blake Bortles was running the football. I think he had maybe like 88 yards rushing in that game.
And 10 rushes.
Yeah, 10 rushes. He was right. He made plays. He definitely impressed. That defense is good. You know, I stand corrected. You know, their defense showed up. They got another tough test against the Steelers next week. You know, they handled it in the regular season. Now the Steelers are playing a whole lot better, but we'll see what happens.
Man, when I saw a picture on Bleacher Report, I saw O.J. Simpson down at the game. When I saw that, I was like, it's Bills. I was locked in on Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
I thought the Bills were going to win.
No, it looked like a Bills game. I mean, the crowd was Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. You know, and even they were celebrating even being in the playoffs. I think it was so much emphasis on them even making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I know you saw the viral thing about the tattoo that somebody got of Andy Dalton for allowing him to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, it was such a powerful, you know, surge behind them.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I don't even think they knew what to do when they got there.
Honestly,
like, you know, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the Jaguars, the Bills, Tennessee Titans, I mean, I wasn't gonna, you know, I wouldn't have thought that all of those guys would be in the playoffs. But
absolutely not.
What did you guys learn about Jacksonville? Did you guys? I mean,
man, I would say, you know, Jacksonville. This is, you know, how it was a 10-3 game. This is just what we're used to. You know, they win ugly football games, and we have a good defense. You can do that. You know, this was a matchup. I never felt like, you know, Buffalo was going to be the team to beat them. Mm-hmm. It was just the fact that, you know, that defense, you know, they hold up. They were able to stop the run despite, you know, LaShawn McCoy not being 100%. Mm-hmm. At the same time, Jalen Ramsey come up big at the end of the game, getting the pick off of Nathan Peterman. So it's just what we're accustomed to right now with Jacksonville. That defense is for real. And, of course, they're going to have a big test next week when they play Pittsburgh in the divisional round. But that defense is for real, man.
And I think one thing for me next week for them will definitely be taking care of the football. Just making sure that they did a pretty good job, you know, in the game, but making sure, especially against Pittsburgh, I want to see more of Leonard Fournette. I definitely want to see more of him. He had 21 carries for 57 yards. Obviously, the Bills are going to be more stout against that run.
For sure.
But I think, you know, moving forward, I want to see more of him. You know, he's had some huge games this year. It showed that he's definitely NFL ready and what we thought he would be coming out of the draft.
Sure.
So I think against Pittsburgh, he'll be able to run.
We'll see. You know, I saw, you know, against the Bills, they stacked the box with 8.
Yeah.
You know, they were daring Blake Bortles to make plays, and he made a few plays to get him to win, which is fine. But another takeaway from this game is we got some good young corners. I mean, you got Marcus Peters in KC, you got Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville, Tre'Davious White in Buffalo, Marshawn Lattimore in New Orleans. We got some good young corners, and you know these dudes can ball, and a lot of them are only rookies or, you know, second year, third year players. So that's another takeaway from that game.
Right. So moving over to the NFC side, the fun side of things, guys.
Yeah.
Atlanta getting that game against Los Angeles, man, 26-13. Atlanta came in as the 6th seed, as some people may not know, but the Rams were favored in this game, and Atlanta handling business. So how do you guys feel about that one?
I mean, Atlanta played well. You know, it kind of, that experience factor took into effect. You know, Jared Goff couldn't really, he got going a little bit, but couldn't get going enough. They couldn't finish drives. Todd Gurley never really had those explosive plays that we're used to seeing him have. And that defense just couldn't stop Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu and that whole offense, honestly. That whole offense on Saturday night looked like how they looked when they went to the Super Bowl. They looked impressive.
Yeah, I feel like Sean McVay and his team, you know, as good as they were in the regular season, they just look kind of overmatched with Atlanta. You know, since 2011, the top scoring offenses in the NFL, they haven't reached to the Super Bowl. Well, a couple have reached the Super Bowl, but none of them have won the Super Bowl. And Atlanta was able to go on the road, and like I said, the two things that travel best are running games and defense.
Yes, sir.
And over the last few weeks, their defense has looked great, man. You saw dudes like Keanu Neal, man, making open field tackles. Robert Alford on the other side, playing good defense, man, strapping up. And then just, the balance of their team. They had a total of 39 runs and 30 passes, so they were a lot really, really balanced. And the thing is, MVP candidate on the other side with Los Angeles, Todd Gurley only had 14 carries. Despite him having 100 rushing yards, he only had 14 carries. I think we could have saw a little more of that, but at the same time, Atlanta was able to capitalize on their turnovers that Los Angeles made so early because Pharoh Cooper had the 2 fumbles. That sucked for that. And once they got behind, it was kind of hard for them to get back in the game. But I really just like the balance of Atlanta. The defense is looking good, and then them just making enough plays, Julio Jones getting a touchdown, man, to, chew the game up. So I really like what I saw at the Falcons.
Atlanta definitely heating up. I think, Matt Ryan, he only missed 9 passes. He was 21 of 30.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not veteran. I don't know what veteran is. He's in the playoffs. He understands where he is. In the year, it's playoff time. It's time to really get serious. I mean, he was not playing out there. He was picking them apart piece by piece. I mean, I think he only did like 218 yards, but I mean, like you said, efficiency where it really counted. No turnovers. And the Rams didn't really play a bad game, like you said. No. But I think we definitely should have seen more of Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley was the piece that would have put them kind of over the edge. Obviously, other than defense, their defense didn't hold up as well as we thought they would. But we needed more Todd Gurley. Yeah. Whenever he got the ball, it was 8 yards.
Yeah, they had 14 carries the whole game. 14 carries the whole game compared to 45 passes. That's not something, that's not a formula I think, LA needs to win. And at the same time, man, like we said, Atlanta was able to jump out to a 13-0 lead, from the turnovers from Pharoh Cooper. That just really put Los Angeles in the hole. For sure. So moving forward, man, I got a little smirk on my face right now, as all our listeners can probably hear, man. Who that say they going to beat them Saints, man? You already know what it is. New Orleans getting the win, man. I thought 31. Was just a hot team, G.
Nah, man, not hot at all. We're good, man. We're good. It hurt, I told y'all, man, we won those 8 straight, man. I said it's going to be something special.
It hurt,
Last time we won 8 straight, y'all know what we did, man. So it's cool. It is what it is. I want Brad to talk a little bit about this one. This is his team.
It hurt, man. To be fair, on record, I did pick New Orleans to win this game. I really, really wanted to be wrong in this matchup just because, Carolina, that's my squad, man, keep pounding. But Drew Brees, man, he literally dissected Carolina's defense. He tore the weakest part of their defense, which is their secondary. And at the same time, Carolina, their bread and butter this season has been their defense. They've been bailed out so much from their defense, and they literally just ripped them to shreds. This was a team, Carolina, and then probably going into the game, Sean Payton knew their strongest unit is their run defense. They only had a total of 45 yards with Kamara and Mark Ingram combined. They put the ball in the air. So I really look. The most impressive thing, number one with the Saints, they have so many ways they can win. The number one, the defense was great in the red zone. Carolina had a lot of missed opportunities, but at the same time, that defense was playing phenomenal in the red zone. Then the fact that you still have a running game and you didn't even have to use it to win a big game like this, to sweep, a dangerous team like Carolina, who, a lot of people were saying, this could be a dangerous team in the playoffs if they were able to win this game. And at the same time, Drew Brees is showing why he is a proven Super Bowl champ. And next week when they go into Minnesota, that's gonna be a big game, man.
Yeah, it is. I think.
I was just gonna piggyback off what Brad said. Drew Brees, he showed why he's Drew Brees. He shows why he's an elite quarterback. I definitely think the Panthers. A lot of people give me the reputation of being a Cam hater. They got to give Cam some more weapons. They got to. Devin Funchess, Greg Olsen, McCaffrey, he was a rookie. That's not enough. I would like to see them trade up in the first round.
Squad wide receivers.
He doesn't have the weapons, and when you don't have the weapons, it's hard to play against a team like the Saints on the road in a playoff environment and be successful.
It was one play I think where Burson got the ball. It was on an under route. He got the ball, had a whole bunch of yards.
Got by a ghost.
And then tripped. I said, what did he trip on?
Yeah, that was a ghost.
That's like Pop Warner football stuff that you see. Come on.
They got to give him some more weapons. They got to give him some more weapons.
You tripped on AstroTurf. It's like what are you tripping on? That was crazy.
I don't know.
To piggyback off of that, I do want to add in, I do agree with you guys. I feel like Cam, he does need, a little more weapons. But But at the same time, man, that dude played phenomenal despite a loss.
No, he did.
There's no such thing as moral victories. But the way he went out there and balled, man, a lot of teams would have given up because they were settling for so many field goals.
Man.
Like you said, the practice squad receivers.
Yeah.
My dude Clay, number 12 for the Panthers, he dropped that wide open touchdown when Cam put the ball on the money. And then within that same drive, Grant Gano, he missed an easy 25 chip shot. It was just a lot of missed opportunities in this game. And Carolina, man, who knows? Maybe if they don't settle for a couple of field goals, and then maybe if they can score in the red zone, maybe the game could be different. But I got to give credit to my dude Cam. He went out there and balled, and he solidified his toughness to me, man.
For sure, yeah. One thing about the Saints though that I'm proud of, I think they definitely proved, like I've been saying all year, bending but not breaking.
Yeah.
It's incredible the fact that they've been able to do that with the young corners that we have. We made some mistakes. Obviously, that one of the mistakes was the Ken Crawley. He had a pass interference that kind of started the surge for you guys to start coming back. That really kicked things off because the thing about Cam is you don't give Cam an inch. You can't.
Yeah.
If you've got your foot on his neck, you keep your foot on Cam's neck because the Panthers are known for those second half comebacks and things like that. And that's what they did.
In the game.
They proved, like they always do, that they're not done. So
also, man, the Sean Payton going for it on fourth down. If that man, like you said, the bend but not break, man, the fact that the defense was able, go out there and continue to hold Carolina once they got into, the 20-yard-ish area, because that would have been so bad if that backfired, man.
Yeah. He's a gutsy coach.
I remember, he's gutsy.
I remember in the Super Bowl when he did the onside kick.
Yes, sir.
To start the second half and got in that year. He's a gutsy coach. I didn't think it was a good call. I think you punt it. I think you punt it, play it safe, and let your defense win it for you. But it worked out.
It's
in
a
the end.
little luck in there somewhere. But let's talk about these games that are coming up this week. Tennessee and New England. Going back to the AFC side. So, how do you guys feel about that one? Obviously, New England being that favorite. Is it possible for Tennessee? What do they need to do? What are the steps for Tennessee to even get a chance?
They need Tom Brady to get hurt. They need Brandon Cooks to get hurt. They need Bill Belichick to somehow not be able to coach.
Gronk
get ill or something. There's no shot that they have a win in this football game. The Patriots are they're the elite level of the NFL.
Yeah.
They're the formula. They're what everyone is trying to achieve. They're the Golden State of the NFL. Now they have James Harrison. That's another pass rusher. I don't see Mariota really having much time to throw. The receivers haven't really been able to come up big for him. In that running game, Derrick Henry, although he had a good game against the Chiefs, it's not happening in New England.
Yeah, they're gonna need some fairy dust, man, when they go to New England.
So no chance from
No
either of you guys.
No chance for me. But the same. What I will say though, Mariota, he played phenomenal in that game when he came back. Despite had a couple of lucky plays, like Wayne mentioned, the little catch he had, touchdown to himself.
That's awareness, though,
I just
man.
feel
That shows some awareness.
that's
hey,
awareness.
man, look, if you playing Madden, man, you know about some awareness.
Yeah.
That awareness on 95.
It's
With
only-
that, look,
it's
it's got to be 95.
It's only a
against
couple of
that.
quarterbacks in the NFL that can make it.
Come on, man. Like,
But I will say though, how you mentioned, we'll get into this stat later. Just that experience, like Wayne mentioned, Tom Brady is not losing a divisional after having weeks to prepare. He's not losing.
He's
this
had
game.
too much time.
And then they've
Too
mentioned in Tennessee's organization, like even if they would have lost last week to Kansas City, they want Josh McDaniels. They want a younger coach, to be with Mariota.
Yeah.
So honestly, maybe Josh McDaniels is going to be across that sideline. Will get the opportunity, like, oh, this could be the team I coach within the next few weeks,
Right?
Because they're talking about Mike Mularkey.
It'd be a
He'd
good
be out
fit.
the door. So
For sure. So Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. This one's a little bit closer, I
that's
think.
a tricky
So,
one for me.
This one, defense for me, I think is going to be the key, obviously, for Jacksonville. Offense, you're not expecting too much, but
not from Jacksonville.
the thing is, it's going to be like best defense or best pass defense. I feel like
they have the best
Jacksonville's
secondary.
pass defense is, it's locked.
It's ridiculous.
Versus, it's unlimited weapons.
Yeah.
For Ben Roethlisberger. You got Schuster. You have AB.
Still got
Martellus
Braun.
Still, yeah. I'm about to say Martavis Bryant can still catch the
not
football.
Martellus,
Juice.
but Martavis
Even though he's
Bryant.
on the outs, with Pittsburgh, but he still can catch the football.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon. Even you get that number
James Conner.
Jesse James and them, down low for for
He has
around
so
the
many
goal
weapons.
line.
Yeah.
So what really is the key for both teams? Do you feel like in this game?
For Jacksonville, they have to be better offensively because their defense is going to give them a chance to win, but they have to go out and make those plays offensively.
It doesn't help if you can't move the ball.
For Pittsburgh, I think it's defensively. That loss of Ryan Shazier, I hope, prayers go out to him. I hope everything is okay with him.
Yeah.
But, from a football standpoint, that's a big loss. That's the leader of your defense. He's the inside linebacker. The dude is the inside linebacker who runs a 4.4, athletic, speed, all that, has all the intangibles. So not having him takes a big hit on their defense.
Huge.
But they, it's kind of not a blessing, but it's kind of okay because, Jacksonville doesn't have a great offense either. You know, so for Jacksonville, you got to make plays offensively. For Pittsburgh, you honestly just have to play a decent game. Just don't turn over the football. I mean, Big Ben had 5 picks. Although that was early in the season, he had 5 picks against them. That's not going to happen again.
Right.
I feel, the formula is simple, man. For Pittsburgh, like Wanye said, you got to make Blake Bortles try to beat you, which, as we've seen, he's not really capable of doing a lot. He's had a couple of good games this season, but he's not really – we're not used to seeing Blake Bortles do that. So I'm expecting, Pittsburgh stack the box, put a lot of 8-man fronts out there, make Blake Bortles beat – they're 10-1. Only game they lost since then was New England, and that was questionable, how that game came.
That was a close
so
game, too.
I just feel like, Pittsburgh, they're going to be the better team, despite Jacksonville having a great defense, young team, a team on the come-up. It's just like Bortles – Big Ben. And, despite defenses, both teams have good backs. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks, and if you make Blake Bortles try to beat you, I don't see them beating Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and one thing with me that sticks out is Mike Tomlin. Okay, Mike Tomlin, obviously one of the greatest coaches in the thing right now, in the NFL right now. But
absolutely.
The thing about him is when they get to the playoffs, for me, it seems to me as if he switches things up a little bit. Mike Tomlin, for me, I want to see him do the same thing they've been doing all year to get to this point.
Absolutely.
Air the ball out.
Yeah.
Let Le'Veon come out of the backfield and get the ball. Give Le'Veon, the ball when he needs it, whatever, coming out of the back, just regardless. But the thing is, use your weapons.
Use them.
Don't. I don't want to see any end arounds. I don't want to see,
Yeah, you don't need nothing.
He tends to try to switch it up in the playoffs and show that he can do different things. That's not how you got here.
No.
So we want to see you continue what you've been doing, and I think that they want.
And you're talented enough to do that. I
Right.
mean, you have, in my opinion, the best running back in the league. Maybe you can make the case for Todd Gurley, but the best running back in the league, the best receiver in the league. You got the best rookie, your best young receiver in the league, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Best 3-man.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The big B's, man. I mean, them boys can ball. Yeah, the real triple B's. Them boys can ball. So just continue to use them. They just have to play a good game.
Right.
But you want to be efficient because you got New England coming up next week. So you can't get an ugly win. You got to get a good win.
Right. So moving over to the NFC side, guys. Atlanta at Philadelphia.
I'm happy to talk about this
Let's
one.
let Wayne start this one off. Wayne,
Listen
what needs to happen, man?
Listen here, man. This is what's gonna happen.
This is the post-Wentz era right now.
Yeah, this is the post-Wentz era. So it's a little. If it was Wentz, it wouldn't be no question about it.
Right. So what's going on, man?
Like you said earlier, what travels well in the playoffs? Defense and running game. The Eagles have the number 3 rush offense and the number 1 rush defense, and 4th in points allowed.
Okay.
Matt Ryan on the road in the playoffs got his first win on Saturday. In his last road playoff game, he took an L to the Giants, in which he went 24 for 41 for 199 yards and 0 touchdowns. Now, granted, that was probably a cold game. You want to know what the weather for Saturday is going to be? High of 23 and rain. They're not going to be able to air out the ball. So
the highest is going to be is 23?
The highest is going to be is 23 degrees.
Right.
So granted, the game is at 4:30. It's going to be in the night, so it's going to be about 17, 16 degrees. Matt Ryan is not going to be able to air out the ball all game. They're going to have to run the football. We'll bet. We have the number 1 rush defense in the league. Though Nick Foles hasn't looked good in the past few weeks that he's played, he's looked horrible. He's looked absolutely horrible. They have a good running game. So I think this game is going to come down. It's going to be like a 13-10 game, 14-10 game. It's going to be a very low-scoring game, and it's going to come down to a one possession or a turnover.
What do you need from Nick Foles? Because you're not going to run the ball the whole time. So
you can't run the ball the whole time.
What do you need from Nick Foles?
I need Nick Foles. In a win, I project his stats to be a little bit over 200 yards, maybe a touchdown, maybe 2. That's all he needs to do. He just don't turn over the football. Do not turn over the football because you don't want to give a short field to a veteran receiver. A veteran receiver, but a veteran quarterback and a veteran offense. You don't want to give them a short field. You don't want to cakewalk anything to them. You want to make everything earn and punt that ball away and make them drive down the field against your good defense.
Number 1 defense. Number 1 rushing defense.
Yep.
Okay. Cold weather. Okay. But I am a firm believer, and I want to be on the record. Like Wanye said, if Wentz would be here, no ifs, ands, or
question.
buts.
Yeah, no
I'm
question.
picking Philadelphia over Atlanta.
And gosh, that breaks my heart that he's not
But
there.
I'm a firm believer. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And over the last few weeks, Atlanta's the better team in this game. It's easy for me to pick Atlanta because, like Wanye said, Matt Ryan, he had a bad game once in his career in the cold. But this is a dude, all season everybody's been saying, Atlanta, Super Bowl hangover this. This is a team that got their confidence back. They found a way in the playoffs. They already went on the road, despite it being a warm game. They already went on the road to beat the top scoring offense in the NFL. A lot of people say, LA, dark horse for a Super Bowl. They already been on the road. They got their swagger back. Like I said, the defense is playing good from the defensive line to the linebacking core to the secondary, both sides. Trufant and Alfred, and in the linebacker core, like I said, Deion Jones, man, making plays. Don Terry Poe and all them pass rushers like Vic Beasley getting to the quarterback, and then they can tote the rock, man. Devontae Freeman. So if they can't pass the ball, man, Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, I think they can continue to run the ball with Philadelphia.
Ball,
so at the end of the day, man, I'm looking at it like this, man. This is a team over the last few weeks. They got their swagger back. They're confident. This is a team. They just went to the Super Bowl last year. Despite losing it, they still know how to get back. And Matt Ryan, he's the proven vet. So I'm taking the proven vet over Nick Foles.
You guys are talking. We mentioned earlier. You guys talked about the Saints being you guys' favorite to go to the. To the thing. For me, it's Atlanta. I think it's definitely
they're the scariest team right now.
I'm obviously a Saints fan. I want us to go, but the most realistic person coming out of the NFC for me is Atlanta, and the reason why is because they got that monkey off their back, like you mentioned. Nobody's looking at Atlanta. The thing is, last year when everybody was talking about Atlanta, going in, that pressure was there, and I don't think the pressure. Like we said, it's a mental game, so the pressure goes into it. But right now, I don't think there's any pressure. I think Matt Ryan's having a great time. Matt Ryan's picking defenses apart. He's fine. But so moving forward, the thing is for you guys have a great rush defense. But I'm gonna tell you, and a pretty good pass defense as well. The thing is, they're going to give you different flows. It's not going to be the same thing. With Atlanta, Atlanta has too many flows. And what I mean by that is look, they can give you the run. But not only that, they can take their same running backs that they just ran with out of the backfield and pass it to them. Both of those guys are catching backs. Freeman and Tevin Coleman. They both, don't forget, those guys, I think it was last year, they combined for, I think it was one of the highest receiving yards for a tandem in history. So that was I think 2 years ago.
Definitely a good. They're definitely. I'm not saying Atlanta's not a good. Now, Super Bowl predict them going to Super Bowl. I don't believe in that at all. They're definitely a good team, but don't underestimate, because a lot of people are like you just said, Nick Foles versus Matt Ryan. It doesn't have to come to that. It doesn't have to come to that in this game. Now, had it been cool, nice weather, all that stuff, then I would say, all right, Nick Foles versus Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan gonna sling that ball around and he gonna tear him apart. But in that cold weather. And it being raining, he's not gonna be able to do that. So running the football,
he gonna throw some gloves on. He gonna be all right.
He's not. You know
what I'm saying? He's done it plenty of times.
But what I'm saying, when
Matt, I'm not saying in the play. I'm saying just in games in general. Cold games, you've seen him put gloves on.
When?
Plenty of times. I don't know him off the top of my head, but I'm just saying.
In my thing, I was telling Brad this yesterday. Dome teams do not do well on the road in the playoffs. He's a dome quarterback. They play in a dome. He's not going to be able to come out into South Philadelphia and just start throwing the ball all around the world. Now, they do have two good running backs. However, the Eagles' defense is proven. I can give you the numbers, but even against the Panthers, they held the Panthers to 1 yard combined. They held the Bears to -6 yards. Now, granted, the Bears are not really a good team, but their highest rushing yards against was the Raiders in 134.
Who's stopping Julio?
They don't have.
That's my question.
They don't have to. It's not about Julio. Julio Jones gonna get his regardless. He's the second best receiver in the league. But it's about not allowing him to score in the red zone, which he can't do already, and just not allowing big plays. And that's what it comes down. That's what's gonna come down to.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, moving forward, the last one, guys. Obviously, New Orleans and Minnesota. I think New Orleans can get it done. It's gonna be a tough one for sure. Minnesota obviously is a stout defense. I think both ways. I think they're definitely
absolutely.
You look at pass defense and you look at run defense. They're about close to the top for both.
Yep.
So I definitely think that's going to be a tough one. But it goes down to veteran. I think it comes down to Drew Brees for me. Versus a quarterback who doesn't have any experience. And obviously I think in that situation they're going to be doing a lot of running. They're going to be trying to trick us with some dump offs and things like that. Jerick McKinnon trying to get him involved, but I don't think we're falling for that. I think we're gonna move on to the next.
I think New Orleans defense is good enough to where they'll get the win. I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win. I don't think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a 28-13 type of game. I think Drew Brees is going to pick them boys apart. And come up with the win, honestly.
I see Chase Keenum making some mistakes, something that he hasn't done all year, but I think so.
Yeah, Minnesota has a chance to make history, be the first team to host the Super Bowl and go, but that ain't happening. I feel like I said, the confidence is through the roof right now in New Orleans. Even them traveling, going against Minnesota, I feel like, this is a team. They just, they're playing good on all levels, man. So I'm going with New Orleans for the sweep around the table.
For sure. So just before we get out of here, a quick stat from Adam Schefter. About the quarterback experience, Mariota, the Mariota versus Brady. Brady has 34 postseason starts. Mariota has 1. Roethlisberger has 20, and Bortles has 1. Ryan has 9, and Foles has 1, and then Breeze has 12, and Keenum has 0. So, I mean, that just goes to show you kind of what it's going to be moving forward. So, for Brad Brooks, Wanye Davis, I'm your boy Javon Hubbard, man. Thanks for listening.
Dirty soda and styrofoam. Spend a day to get my mind blown. Dress it up, you know the Nassau. 200 miles. Dirty soda and styrofoam. Spend a day to get my mind blown. Dress it up, you know the Nassau. 200 miles.